The situation is totally different if a process is influenced by the Earth rotation. So if the time scale of a process exceeds 24 hours, so with rotational effects, you actually get something that we call a stationary density front. The density front is a situation where you have lighter water next to heavy water without the creation of a density-driven flow. Instead of that, you actually get a current which runs along the front of along the frontal axis. This is one example of a so-called shelf break front that you find in the oceans. It's a typical feature. So let's have a look at that. Look at the right panel. Okay. Let's have a look at the right panel here. It shows sigma t values, and it's a vertical transect. So you look from the side, and the brown stuff that you see is the you just cut across the continental margin. So you can see the shape of the seafloor, the depth of that region, and you can see the shelf break essentially. On one side it's less than 100 meters, and then it gets deeper than 200 meters on the other side. So let's have a look how it looks like here in terms of the colors. What does it mean? The yellow-orange stuff, is light water, less than something like 26 in sigma t units. And on the other side, you have the blue, and the purple stuff is heavier water. So you can see the density front, you can see the lines, there is a horizontal transition zone, horizontal gradients, and this is what we call a density front. It's sustained over long times, and the currents runs not across but along this density front. So the other two panels show you the salinity and the temperature that make up this density front. You can have a look at the colors, have a look at the values, and on the very left side, the temperature structure is actually misleading. The colors are misleading because you see that actually red correspond to low temperatures. So it's low temperatures. So the low temperatures don't create lighter water. You learned that temperature actually, the colder the water, the heavier it is. So what actually overrides the temperature effect is the salinity. So salinity, you can see the red is low density water, and so it's water derived from continental runoff. And this is what creates the density structure. And what it creates under the influence of the Earth rotation, it creates a current which actually runs along the frontal axis. So it runs along the shelf break. So this is one example from the shelf of the Mid-Atlantic Bight, taken south of Rhode Island in April 1974. So this is what you get in the oceans, and actually how you create horizontal currents in the ocean. And it's associated with horizontal density differences. And why? Because the density affects the pressure distribution, and if you have a horizontal pressure difference, it creates a current. So without rotational effects, you get a density-driven flow, and with rotational effects, it's the Coriolis force that influences this current, and you get these features like currents which run along the density front.